I think the first question for us to answer is that what are we comparing this relative, I would say, improvement or openness towards communication with? And really, if we look at the past few decades since the détente, this has been the lowest point in China-U.S. relations. This has been a point where the idea of, maybe even a hot war hasn't been out of the question. And so I do think, we have to also measure our expectations from the relationship. We see that these high-level visits recently that happened have definitely increased the likelihood of both sides, I mean, especially from the United States, to realize that they need to be able to manage the relationship. And that is then a relative improvement. The fact that high-level leadership is engaging one another, and as the Financial Times report also mentions, we do see that the willingness, especially from the side of Washington, D.C., is there to make sure that this relationship doesn't deteriorate too far. And I think, obviously we have to manage our expectations. We're only seeing very nuanced relative improvement. But the more important question right now is for us to understand what is the context in which this competition is taking place. And that context is an increasingly multipolarizing world. It is a world that is watching how the U.S. and how China are acting. What is their role when it comes to global challenges we face? We are not in that world that was in the previous Cold War, and that's why that would not be a good comparison. We are in a world where African leaders will call out the United States for not being present, for not playing the role that they should play, for being too hawkish against China and not actually playing a constructive role when it comes to global challenges. So I think that pressure, that is a real pressure on the United States right now, and maybe that is resulting in at least a semblance of managing, at least to a small percent,